John Harbaugh is the fifth best coach in the NFL, according to CBS Sports. Do I agree? Let's talk about it. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to TTB Ravens Media, bringing Ravens content every single day. And if you want to see that daily Ravens content, make sure to subscribe button down below. Hit the notification bell as well if you want to get notified every single time I put a brand new video. Now, I'm talking about another list that came out. It's the offseason, guys. This is the ultimate offseason. There's no draft. There's not much free agency. We don't know enough about the teams to, preview matchups and such. So it really just becomes, all right, let's talk about lists. Let's talk about power rankings. Let's talk about, who else to sign. But this list came out from CBS Sports, I believe yesterday, and I felt like I wanted to talk about it. Now, if you guys notice, I'm wearing an Oklahoma City Thunder jersey. That is because Summer League also starts today. I may put out a video tomorrow on the Summer League on, different performances from certain players. I'm not 100% certain on if I'll do that or what I'll talk about tomorrow. Happy 4th of July to everybody watching in the United States for tomorrow. If anybody's watching in Canada, happy Canada Day 2 days late. That was on Saturday. But shout out to OKC. Shout out to Chet Holmgren. Very excited to watch them play tonight against the Utah Jazz. But let's jump right into this list. I'm not going to go through every, coach. I don't think people care enough about coaches. I went over the, roster rankings. I went over every team, but I think people care a lot more about that. I'll go through the top 10 coaches, and then we'll talk about it. Number 1, Andy Reid. Number 2, Kyle Shanahan. Number 3, Bill Belichick. Number 4, Sean McVay. Number 5, John Harbaugh. Number 6, Mike Tomlin. Number 7, Sean McDermott. Number 8, Sean Payton. Number 9, Pete Carroll. And number 10, Doug Peterson. That's the top 10 right there. I don't think it's an atrocious top 10 in terms of the names that were put in there. Some left out guys might be, Sirianni. Maybe Mike Vrabel, is a close pull out, but that's really about it. I am curious who is the worst coach in the league according to him. Matt Eberflus. Second season with Chicago. Okay. But that's the list right there. Let's talk about it. Number 1, Andy Reid. I would disagree, but I know why he's there. He's there because he's won, so much more in recent years with Patrick Mahomes. He's the best offensive mind in the NFL, maybe in NFL history. Got no problem with that. Kyle Shanahan at 2. I think he's one of the best offensive minds in NFL history. Team has had great success. I think he's very smart. I think he knows exactly what he's doing. He's one of the few coaches that is able to win without quarterbacks. And without quarterbacks, I mean without superstars. That is very hard to do. You don't see very many coaches, put together the seasons that he has under bad quarterback play. He took Jimmy Garoppolo to the Super Bowl. He was not good that season. He took Brock Purdy and Trey Lance and Jimmy Garoppolo all playing together and turned that into one of the best teams in the NFL. And he's probably going to do it again this year with Purdy, Lance, and Darnold. 2 is fine. Bill Belichick at 3. I would disagree. I'd still put Bill Belichick at 1. I don't think he's gotten worse. I think that his team has gotten significantly worse, but it's very funny how you can watch the New England Patriots consistently and just watch Bill Belichick outcoach people. It happens. It definitely happens at least once a month where you go in and you're like, oh yeah, the Patriots should probably lose this game. And then Bill Belichick comes out with the most incredible game plan you've ever seen, and everything that team does is just wiped off the face of the earth, and you're like, what? How did that work? Bill Belichick is an absolute genius. I think he should still be number 1. I get why he's not there because the Patriots aren't a very good team, but that's all I have to say about Bill Belichick. In terms of the next guy up, that would be Sean McVay. I think Sean McVay is a really good coach. I think number 4 is fair. I'm not going to say anything else about that. I think he's a really good, offensive head coach. I think the Rams, again, have had a lot of success. Last year, the team got, ravaged with injuries, so I'm not going to fault him. But next up is John Harbaugh. And John Harbaugh, you guys know my thoughts on John Harbaugh, but I'm going to read their description of Harbaugh. It says, the recent playoff results haven't been overly encouraging. Noticing a theme here. His Ravens have won just a single postseason contest in the last 8 years, but his last half decade with has proven he's more adaptable than most, building around Lamar Jackson while maintaining a stingy D. Should Jackson make another leap of his own, Harbaugh could finally contend for a second ring. That is the worst sentence I've ever read in my life. Should Jackson make another leap of his own, Harbaugh could finally contend for a second ring? They're putting it on Lamar. And he's saying in his last half decade has proven he's more adaptable than most. What is the problem with John Harbaugh? He doesn't adapt. He doesn't get rid of coaches. He continues to do the exact same thing even though it routinely fails. What Ravens are they watching? That is laughable. Like, John Harbaugh, I don't think he's a bad coach. He's a player's coach. He's not an X's and O's guy. He's hired good defensive coordinators. His players love him. I'm not trying to say he's bad. And if you make a good case for him to be top 5, I'm fine with that. He's had success. He's had great seasons. The Ravens have had good teams. Last year, the Ravens were very injured, and he was able to make the playoffs. If you want to make that case, I might disagree a little bit, but I'm going to be okay with it. But to say that it's because of his adaptability and Lamar Jackson needing to take a leap for them to be contenders. What are you talking about? Next, number 6 is Mike Tomlin. And they say, much like Sean Payton, he's searching for the postseason glory of old, going just 3-8 in the playoffs, 3-8 in the playoffs since the 2010 Super Bowl loss. And his ground and pound philosophy tends to be better at producing wildcard fighters than Lombardi contenders. But no one will ever count his teams out, both because of his unwavering fortitude and unmatched track record of 16 straight non-losing seasons. How is John Harbaugh over Mike Tomlin? I mean, Mike Tomlin has had significantly worse rosters recently and has been significantly more consistent. The Ravens are better than the Steelers. Their roster is better. But routinely, Mike Tomlin outcoaches John Harbaugh in those games. We watch it. We get mad at it. We all understand it. Harbaugh gets outcoached all the time. It's very rare that you ever see Mike Tomlin get outcoached. Again, I think Mike Tomlin is a surefire Hall of Famer. I don't think Harbaugh is a Hall of Famer. Now, could he be? Yes. I'm not trying to say he can't be. But right now, I don't think he is. I mean, Mike Tomlin's record is 163-93. He's never had a losing season, and he has had seasons. I mean, he had a season of Mason Rudolph and Duck Hodges. He still had a winning record. Sean McDermott, I can see the argument with Harbaugh. I'm not going to argue that. Sean Payton, I think Sean Payton should probably be number 4 over Sean McVay, but we haven't seen him coach in the NFL in a couple of years, so I'm fine with him, being farther back because we haven't seen him. I think Sean Payton's going to do a great job in Denver. Pete Carroll, I think Pete Carroll is the second best players coach in the NFL. I think number 1 is Tomlin. I think number 2 is Carroll. Number 3 is Harbaugh. That would be my order. Pete Carroll, again, another coach. I mean, you look at last year. How was Pete Carroll not in the top 7 after last year's performance? That team was supposed to be the worst team in the NFL, according to a lot of people. I doubted him. I'm not going to lie. I heavily doubted him. But Pete Carroll put together a great season. Geno Smith, crazy breakout year. And they're always competing, always, fighting. Pete Carroll's a great coach, and I think, he's very far back. Doug Peterson, that's fine at number 10. I have no problem with it. But John Harbaugh, I think it's a little bit ridiculous putting him at 5, and even more ridiculous was the reasoning for it. It makes no sense. It's like the people that do all these power rankings, they just see the Ravens, they just throw a dart somewhere and then have to write some random thing. But it's written by Cody Benjamin at CBS Sports. Cody, read some more about the Ravens and fans' complaints, because it's the exact opposite of what you said Harbaugh's strengths were. Thank you all so much for watching. Subscribe for daily Ravens content. I'll see all of you again tomorrow on 4th of July.